Hi, my name is Ryan, and this is Lieutenant Pickles, and welcome to our channel. We are here to tell you about a catastrophic experience. Rawr. All right, and I'm not kidding around either. So, the cat actually likes being in here. You probably didn't guess that. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I had developed a model to start increasing the efficiency on my beat generation, and it crashed. It crashed probably below 60%. With my measurements, it came out to be about 60%. But I bet it's probably below 60%. So my efficiency failed. And it failed mainly because of my laziness. Okay, I got lazy. I thought I had it figured out. I thought I had everything under control and wasn't paying attention. Just kind of not proofreading and checking everything like I should. And the efficiency just dropped. It was pretty bad. So what happened was here on my chapter 22, this isn't it. You don't really see it. I'm just going to go through this. And I'm going to make this video fast because I want to sit here and just keep talking away because I know you have better things to do. But I figure some of you might be having some problems with your beat generation. So here's my failure and what I did to fix it. First off, on my original beat generation, I had a set of beats that I expanded to 11 beats. Instead, I had to condense it down to 6. Okay, so that was the first thing I did. I condensed it. I thought, okay, maybe this is too little because what was happening was when it was generating the beats, it was adding a lot of information. And that was with the most accurate setting also set. So it was putting a lot of extra information in there. Other things it was doing, it was like, it was just all over the place. When it was at the 60%, I could just throw out some dice here and we could just guess on what was wrong with it. But when I condensed it down to 6 beats, there were still issues. I barely scratched back to 80% accuracy, which is good, but that's not what I'm shooting for. I want a high percentage of accuracy. And I'll explain why once I get towards the end of the video. One of the things it did wrong also is I had 6 beats created, and you can see down here when it generated the output, it actually created a 7th, and it elaborated extensively on there. Now, it wasn't really bad on what it put. I kind of liked it, but still, nonetheless, it's kind of a little bit worrisome seeing that it's just adding extra beat to it, and it had nothing to do with it. It went way beyond where I was wanting to end it. So one thing I had to do was I had to start adding a lot more guardrails and drivers up here to the beats. So I started doing that. Oh, before I start getting into that, what I did to fix it. Some other things that were wrong were like kind of spilling the beans on the whole story. And I can probably guess why, and I'll tell you why in a second. So it's basically telling like, who knows why. It's like going to a holiday party and somebody sitting there telling you what all the gifts are. They're all wrapped up and kind of ruins the surprise for everybody. So that's kind of what Sudowrite was doing with my story here. It was just telling everybody's business to each other. Let's see, especially like destroying the plot. I'm like, or the secret of the plot. It's like, no, you just got to stop that. I went back through and I checked it, and I would attribute it to my laziness, and the writing was bad in my outline for that particular section. Maybe I was rushing through that point in time because I was on a timeline of trying to get the book done in a month because that was my challenge. And so which is alarming to me because now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I kind of rushed through this stuff. I didn't put as much time and effort into it as I did the previous ones, which were working flawless. And now it just fell apart. So I had to go back through. I had a lot more guardrails and drivers. And you can see right here on this one, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 guardrails. Then I got drivers. I got 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 2 more guardrails right there. So I had to go through and add all these guardrails and all these drivers. I'm like, don't mention this, don't talk to these people. Let's just look at the ones for this right here. So I had to tell where it takes place for the first guardrail. Second guardrail, only use these characters. Third guardrail, this character do not know where the cure is located. They need to find it, okay? This guardrail says this character doesn't know what this other character is doing. Then here's the tone. That worked out fine. And then elaborate on this. This driver's, display the craziness of the character. If you saw the other video, that was there. This other guardrail, it's like the The main villain doesn't know this guy's infected with the virus, but the Sudowrite kept telling him, like, like the villain knew in advance. So I didn't know what was going on. So I had this other guardrail. I had to add it here to make sure that these two are in cahoots and the main villain doesn't know he's getting tricked by these other people. So it's like, it was really obnoxious. I was like, this is getting out of control. And then I figured out it was mainly because of my writing, like I said earlier. So I had to really go back through and work on the sequence events and be very precise on what I was putting in there. Because what I had originally wasn't very precise. Like it was, I would say it was kind of loose. It's my fault. I was using general pronouns. I was maybe instead of using a semicolon, I was just creating a new sentence. That caused some sort of disruption and everything. So it's hard to say. But I did get it fixed, and I got back up to 90th percentile. Here's the numbers. I calculate all this stuff. I know you're like, oh, the spreadsheets. We were waiting for that. Yeah, here it is. So first one came out to about 60%. I didn't highlight it there. That'll make you happier. It's in yellow. That means it's important when it's highlighted in yellow. Remember that for spreadsheets. It's not an important spreadsheet unless it's been highlighted in yellow. You remember that. All right? Just like my good cat jokes. And then the B file, which appears the title, that one came out to about 80%. And here's where I got back to 90%. So, you got to tinker with this thing. And I would really focus on my writing as I go into the future with this. One thing that kept kind of like lingering in the back of my head was some advice I got from two people you should keep track of on the Slack channel is Nicole Broussard and John Cresson. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but I apologize for that. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But those two gave me some very good advice, which was basically create a story engine for every chapter. I did that at first, and then I thought I could get away with it